Hello, thank you for joining me today. Welcome. My name is Mr. Ricky Stevens, and I am an artist, and I am also a content creator. And I mainly do Yu-Gi-Oh type content. I'm planning to do some Let's Plays, really trying to expand the type of content that I create. And also trying to display more of what really started me on this journey, which is my artwork. I started drawing when I was very, very little, in 2003 actually. And I remember that because I was in grade 3 in 2003. And my first art project was a picture that the Parent Advisory Council, which is like a PTA for the Americans in the audience, and they asked us to draw our favorite meal that the PAC Council had provided for us. And of course, being in grade 3, my favorite meal was, at the time, the McDonald's Happy Meal that they would buy us. You know, some people had like dilly bars, and for those of you who don't know, that's a little ice cream little kind of like it's an ice cream popsicle that's dipped in chocolate. You get it from Dairy Queen. I think dilly bars is a Canadian term. I don't think that Americans use that. I'm not too sure. I just think I'm pretty sure it's a strictly Canadian thing, but I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, hey, if you're from another country and you say dilly bars to describe that delicious ice cream treat, let me know in the comments section. Just excuse me for a second. I just gotta take a little drink of water. My throat's a little, yeah, you know, gotta hydrate. So I decided to throw this video together, not only to display my process. What you're seeing here is the process of my self-portrait. This is something that I made as a part of my therapeutic process. In early 2021, I started going to therapy. I needed to get my brain checked. I needed to really have a hard look at myself. I was, we were all in this whole 2020 event for quite a long time, and it could take a toll on the mind. So I had to go reset myself. And part of that was embracing who I was. So I decided to create a new sort of self-image of myself and really draw how I truly feel I look on the inside. So that's what I decided to draw, and I decided that I was going to use this art piece as my social media profile across all my platforms to be the way that I represent and show myself to the internet platform. And I feel really good about it. I really like the kind of character that I've created. I really like the kind of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures style. I really just like the animation style of those characters. They're very, very expressive, and I think that's the real big key to the intent of this art piece, which was expression and really drawing something that was expressive of myself in both the positioning, how I drew it, the design of it, and I'm really happy with how it turned out, so much so that I've actually started to dress in public how I look in my profile picture, and it's very liberating. It really is, because now that I've had the opportunity to kind of see a concept or a little preview of what I feel I look like on the inside, then I can have a clear direction of how I want to bring it out to my physical appearance. And did I get on a tangent? I think I got on a tangent there. I really like to get on tangents. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do a video in this format with a nice relaxing voice and smooth talking, almost a little bit of a whisper. I listen to a lot of ASMR videos. Now, what ASMR stands for is, if I remember correctly, just the specific words, automatic sensory meridian response. Pretty sure that's it. Might have to Google search that, but don't do that yet. Maybe do that at the end of the video if you haven't fallen asleep at that point. But essentially what that refers to is a tingling sensation in the brain that can be triggered by specific sounds. And there's another way that this can be triggered. There are some people who are able to trigger it by concentrating and by kind of like focusing on the feeling, so they can trigger it by themselves with their own thought. But most people need an exterior trigger to activate that. And the science behind it is very new because not a lot of people paid a lot of attention to it, and it was really brought about with the introduction of YouTube and people being able to share these videos like this. And then the interest grew from it, and it's actually quite a fascinating journey of how this entire study started from just people wanting to relax and calm down, and people providing YouTube content for it, to now it's an actual study in the brain that people are interested in. I just think that's very interesting. But anyways, again, another tangent. It's what I do, but hey, I gotta fill up like 30 minutes of time here, so probably be a good idea to just let myself wander a little bit. What was I talking about? Oh yes, so I watch a lot of ASMR content to help calm myself down, get myself ready for bed. It helps lull me to sleep, helps me meditate, focus my brain. It just calms everything down. And I know that probably the world nowadays is very stressful, and that I thought I could also provide that, even though this kind of format might not be typical to my channel. I think it's important for even the audience, the viewers, and the supporters of my content to have a break. I want you guys to have this opportunity, and that is why I give these videos to you, so that even if you're not interested in any of those videos, or maybe you aren't subscribed to any ASMR channels out there, maybe you'll give it a try, and maybe it'll bring you some calmness, and then you'll have a whole new area to explore and a new way to de-stress, I guess, would be the correct way to phrase it. So yeah, that's why I decided to do this, and I knew that the first episode was going to be with my self-portrait. That was something that I recently did. I uploaded it already to my TikTok. It's been up there for a few weeks now, but I knew that the first sort of artist's corner, or art corner as I'm considering calling this, I knew that had to be the first one, because like I said, this is the self-portrait is a way for me to represent myself to the internet community as a whole. So yeah, let's kind of dial it back a little bit and bring it back to what I was talking about before. And just looking at my clock right now, I think it's only been like 10 minutes at this point. Wow, 10 minutes? My goodness, I'm just gonna take another sip of my water here. Just because 10 minutes, my mouth is pretty tacky right now, and I got a whole other 27 minutes to go. Oh boy, let's see if we can make it here. I'm pretty sure I got a few stories in me, so if you haven't already, why don't you pull up a chair or lay back and relax, and I hope that my voice can bring you some comfort, and I hope that maybe my stories can interest you or maybe teach or make you think about a few things. Who knows? But either way, I give this video to you, but I have to drink this water now before I cough out a lung or something. It's currently very, very dry where I live in right now. I live on the west coast of Canada, on Vancouver Island. And we recently went through a heat wave with some very high temperatures, temperatures that you would typically see in Arizona or even Africa, in some more arid desert regions of British Columbia. So yeah, that wasn't fun. That wasn't fun at all. Oh my god, that was so bad. I don't get how people choose to live in areas like Arizona. Like you choose to live there and withstand that heat on a regular basis. I don't get it, but props to you, I guess. But yes, continuing back on my journey to art. So I started off with drawing a McDonald's Happy Meal, and what really set it apart from the rest of the students was the use of shading and detail. I even put the shine on the pickles, like the moisture on the pickles. I even drew every single sesame seed, the condensation on the like the soda canister cup. Yeah, that's right. That's the word, cup. But yeah, so I did a lot of detail on it, made it very realistic, and there was a time limit on this. It wasn't like I got to take this home. This was something that we did in class. So when I presented it, it kind of blew people's minds, and I don't like boasting too much about myself, because some of my friends say I have a bit of an ego, and I tend to agree with them. But that project for someone who was in grade 3, that was really good. That was really good. And I knew from then on that I was going to be an artist, that I had a great enjoyment of it. I really loved that process. Just taking the time to draw out every single detail, picturing it all in my head, because I didn't have an actual Happy Meal in front of me at the time. I had to actually think about it. I had to remember it. I had to take from my mind and put it onto the paper, and I was able to do that with such accuracy. It was an experience. Art really is an experience. It really is. And I think that was one of the things that kind of made people go, "Oh, yeah, he's definitely an artist." And that was how some people could draw, but they had to draw from a subject or a sample. I could draw, like, picture something in my head, like a building that I came across. I can remember it in my head, or I can think of a mythological creature, and I can picture the details on, like, if I pictured a dragon, I can picture the details on each of the scales. I know exactly how many horns it has, what type of fire it's breathing, or its teeth, like a crocodile, or like an alligator or a piranha. What does its claws look like? Do they got talons, or they have little nails? Is it a wyvern, or is it an actual dragon, or perhaps just a serpent? I can picture all that in my head and then directly translate it onto the page. And I'm not saying that that's unique in any way. There's lots of people out there that can do that. I am one in 7+ billion people. I am not unique amongst all 7 billion. So, but that was just the thing that set me apart from the other students at the time, that really made other people clue in that, oh, yeah, he's definitely an artist. Because I was able to actually vividly picture in my mind and accurately transcribe it onto paper. So after that, I just started really doodling at that point. I remember doodling quite a bit, usually in my school's notepad. I think there's quite a few that I remember, a few characters that I doodled. One of my favorites was like this scarecrow character, much more of an, I'd kind of describe the style kind of like One Piece. One Piece combined with kind of like Nickelodeon-esque style animation, like with the line weights and how the curves worked. Yeah, I remember that. He had a pitchfork for a weapon. I don't know, I think it was inspired by Kingdom Hearts or something. I didn't personally play Kingdom Hearts, but I liked the style of it. That's another thing, like I didn't play a lot of video games as a child. I only really had a Sega Genesis, a 16-bit Sega Genesis, like not a re-release, like the original Sega Genesis 16-bit. It was my dad's, and he didn't use it as much, so I just used it, and I ended up with it when I moved out. So, but yeah, so I didn't have access to video games like Halo or Left 4 Dead, Resident Evil, none of the classics. My first console was a Nintendo, like my first, like not console, but my first actual like game device that I owned was a Game Boy Advance. That was it. And then after that, it was a Nintendo 3DS that I bought from a friend because he was gonna get the newer model Nintendo DS. So I was quite behind on video games, but I still liked looking at the trailers and the artwork and the design of the characters, all that. I was, however, really into TV shows and anime specifically, as I'm guessing a lot of you have already leaped at the conclusion. Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Was my absolute #1 favorite TV show. I don't even remember the very first time I watched it, because it's so long ago, because I was born like when it came out. I was like right into the cusp of like grade 3, so still very young, so it still plays a major part of my life, and I can't really remember exactly what my first experience with the first episode was. I'm pretty sure it was just on, and it was like the next show. So obviously as a kid you're like, all right, I'll check it out, see what it's like. And yeah, just absolutely blown away. I think definitely what blew me away was big monsters. They summon big monsters and they fight each other, and it's really cool. They got like giant bugs and dragons and warriors, and holy crap, is that a beaver? Wait, that's not a beaver. That's one thing. Beaver warrior isn't an actual beaver. Unless you count it as... Wait, no, you can count it as the mountain... Wait, what if it's a mountain beaver? Because mountain beavers don't have flat tails. I never thought of that. Huh. Sudden realization right in the middle of a recording. Let's go. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Beyblade, Metabots, oh god, what else? Gundam, Seed, Zoids, a little bit of Inuyasha, a little bit of Naruto when they were on the channels at the time, because they just kept on they were one of those shows that kept on swapping time slots, and I didn't have access to like Cartoon Network or Disney XD growing up, or Teletoon or anything like that. Just good old Channel 22 YTV. But you know what? That was good enough, because that was a really good channel. I know there's a bunch of people out there that also grew up with YTV. Ayo, we still here, we still remember. So yeah, a lot of my earlier drawings were just kind of like fan arts or my own, OCs, that kind of typical stuff. I remember I did how many cards did I do? I did a whole bunch of custom Yu-Gi-Oh cards once. I think I did a whole collage of it actually, and I had effects on them and everything. I did the same, I made with Pokemon. I made a whole series on them when I was in middle school with my friend. We made our own Pokemon, which was pretty cool. I think a lot of people. I'm pretty sure that I'm definitely not the only one who did that. Shout out to the people who made their own Pokemon generations in school. We had some pretty cool ideas, and yeah, just a lot of fan art and OCs and stuff like that. Then after. I kind of fell out of Yu-Gi-Oh a little bit when I went into late middle school, early high school, just because I didn't have anybody to really play with. So that took backdrop, and then I was just really preparing to go to university, maybe a little bit too much. I definitely overdid it in high school in terms of my studies. Kind of Gohan'd myself, if you know what I mean. And I went to university for graphic design, and I'm kind of on the fence about that at this point. Oh, sorry, I think I might have just hit the mic. I apologize. But I'm on the fence on the whole going to graphic design school. I think it was an amazing program that I went to. It's nothing against anybody who went to graphic design and became a graphic designer. Y'all do some pretty intense work, and I've seen some very talented graphic designers in my class. Very, very talented. I think I went into it with the wrong mindset, because I was convinced in my youth that you are never going to be able to make money off of being an artist, and you're never going to be able to make a living off of being an artist, the whole starving artist term. So I decided to go to university for graphic design, because I thought, oh, that's art but business, so you can make money off of it and you can live off of it. And let me tell you guys, don't do anything if money is the main goal of it. Don't do it. If money is the only reason, the only good reason you got for doing something, maybe you should reconsider why you're doing it. Because although I did learn a lot of really useful skills, I was able to offset my electives, or I took my electives a lot from the fine arts courses. I took arts history, fine drawing, black and white drawing, and color drawing. And I gotta say, I wish I did the fine arts courses and then did graphic design electives instead. That would have been a lot more worthwhile for me. So I'm not saying that the graphic design courses weren't worth it. I'm just on the fence about whether doing the graphic design program direction for me was worth it. Either way, I did pick up some really good skills that have helped me along my career, especially in improving my art, being able to combine my hand-drawn style and skills with computer technology. I used to look at digital art as a little bit too perfect and too easy. Yeah, I was one of those guys. That's a little bit of an elitist thing to have, and especially in terms of an artist, because art is ever evolving. You can't have a kind of elitist or closed mindset to art mediums and still be an artist. Really, that only works for the viewer, because that's their own personal taste. But as an artist, you have to recognize that art is such a wide spectrum of forms that even something as quote-unquote easy as digital art. Yeah, digital art is easy, but you gotta have this skill to make it look good. Anybody can use Photoshop, but anybody can also pick up a pencil. So I don't know why I had that mindset, and it was really wrong of me to have it. Because honestly, after using Photoshop and digital art programs and a stylus and everything, after going through that and actually working that, it makes the process so much faster and easier and just so much less of a headache. I don't gotta worry about, how much paint I'm using. I don't gotta worry about, it drying or smudging or all that stuff. It takes away the worry of making a dire mistake because it's a physical medium. I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally laid my hand down on the page just because I'm getting exhausted, and then all of a sudden there's a huge smear across my page, and I'm like, well, am I going to grab the eraser, color this over, or this whole thing's going out the window? So we'll see what happens. That kind of stuff's happened so many times. And also digital artwork allows you, I guess, a little bit. It just takes out a lot of the guesswork. Yeah, it just takes out a lot of the guesswork, really. It's just a tool, just like anything. It's just a tool. And how well you do with it is how you use it. So I'm going to be getting more into digital art and practicing that. Although I'm still going to have my traditional art mediums because I still really enjoy the traditional art mediums. I think I'm just going to save those for like the real special projects, the big projects, the major ones, the big kahunas, those ones. Yeah, we're gonna save for those ones. Jesus, still got like 11 minutes left. Oh man, I'm usually they say I can talk. My friends tell me that I can talk for like hours and hours and hours, but then when I actually try and get down to do it, it's not that easy. Hydrate. But yeah, and when I started out on TikTok, I started out with doing just purely art, which I enjoyed doing, but I find that for me, I'm very much an active, entertaining type person. Although I enjoy artwork and I like to share it, it's a very different side of me in terms of my online presence, because art is where I go to turn everything off. I'm not entertaining a crowd. I'm not filming a video, making a joke. I'm just drawing. So it's an incredibly different personality switch from what I usually display on screen. And I want to have that be on as is online as it is in my real life, where it's a momentary pause where I can just sit down and focus on my work, and hey, sometimes I get a commission and I get to make money off of it, so that's kind of cool. But mainly it's a time to just turn things off and just focus on the work. And that's what I'm trying to give you all, is a time to just turn everything off and just listen to some jackass on the internet talk about little nothings and little histories of their life, share a little story, and just turn everything off. That's probably what I'm going to mostly be talking about in these videos, or usually any type of, I'll just typically just find a subject that I can talk about. So I'm hoping that you will all join me and subscribe and join me for that journey. You can also expect to see Let's Plays and also more Yu-Gi-Oh content. I still want to be Yu-Gi-Oh centric in some regard. But I don't want Yu-Gi-Oh to be my whole thing, I don't think I can put in that kind of dedication, especially with all the cards that you gotta buy. Yu-Gi-Oh is definitely gonna be a focus on this channel, but it's not gonna be like the only thing, I'm gonna have let's plays, and also, of course, these nice and relaxing art videos. Whether you like it or not, you're gonna see them, and one day you're gonna turn them on if you haven't clicked on one already. I mean, you're watching this one, so obviously you're here, but just a little, I guess a little in discussion amongst ourselves, a little gossip amongst ourselves. The people who don't click on these videos and listen to them and just let me serenade you with my stories in the background while you watch some artwork go on your TV screen or phone or computer or wherever you decide to watch this video, they're missing out on some good vibes. They're missing out, and that's their problem. We're just gonna hang out here and chill, and they can stick around and check out the other stuff on my channel, because I'm gonna be putting up deck profiles, and every single time I'm in a tournament or anything like that, we're gonna post replays. And like I said before, we're also gonna have some let's plays, and of course these art videos as well, and maybe a couple of other pieces of art content. But art's kind of hard to make content for, since there's not much you can really do with it aside from just film yourself doing the artwork. At least not in a way that makes a different enough way that takes away from the artwork and also makes it interesting. It's like there's not really much you can do with that. So I guess you can call this kind of like a variety channel, I guess. But I guess at this point I'm just rambling. I just have a timer set, and I think I have about like 7 minutes left, I think. Yeah, I think about 7 minutes left or something. And yeah. So yeah, I'm just rambling at this point. Oh, who knows, maybe you're asleep at this point. But yeah, I'm really excited for what has to come, and I'm looking forward to improving and really bringing everybody some great content, because I think I got some good things up here in my head. You can't see me, but I'm pointing to my head. I'm actually tapping my head. I wonder if you can hear it. Maybe. I don't know if you can hear that or not. I just tapped my head on the microphone. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what else I got in store. Thinking of doing like a Skyrim Let's Play. I know that Skyrim is like a game that people have played over and over and over and over and over again. It's been around for like over 10 years, but it's just so good. And I don't have. This is my first time uploading anything to YouTube, so it's like I haven't played Skyrim yet. Technically, you don't know if I've played Skyrim yet or not. So let's play Skyrim. And I'm gonna take some interesting directions with it. The types of let's plays and the ideas I have, they're not just typical, hey, let's just sit down, boot up a video game and play it. I want to add a little bit of flair to it. A little bit of flair. That's kind of the objective. I'm really happy I brought some coffee with me, because man, I didn't realize that I had to be talking for like 37 minutes. Like, man, 37 minutes? I mean, most people can't keep their attention spans for like, I've actually, like 15 seconds or so. Like, I've actually noticed that the one problem that with social media apps like TikTok and they've really, especially in the last year, since we're all spending most of our times online, I think that our attention spans have really declined. I would actually challenge people, challenge people. Yeah, I shouldn't have said force, but challenge people to just listen to something attentively for like a half hour. Like, put away the phone for like an hour of your day and just do stuff.
If you enjoy the type of content that I produce and would like to support my work, please consider heading on over to merch.streamelements.com/Mr. Ricky Stevens Art. There you can find t-shirts and hoodies with my artwork on them. So consider checking it out. Again, that is merch.streamelements.com/Mr. Ricky Stevens _art.